morning. It's Cowboy. It is Friday, October 11th, 2024. And here we are looking at Bitcoin. It's 8:30 a.m. EST as we tend to start here. And Bitcoin has made what appears to be kind of like this double bottom. For now, it's showing a little bit of strength at our old support, which is roughly, in this case, about 60,000. Price did dip down. It looks like it grabbed a little liquidity down below the support. And for the moment is heading up, just kind of not necessarily, too far. We don't know really how far yet. One thing to understand about most markets, Bitcoin and the rest of the markets included, is that volatility is low, right? There's not a lot of volatility. So price isn't really moving, those God candles that you're used to seeing, so on and so forth. But we did just get some news out that might be allowing price to move a little bit more. It's not real. I mean, it is affecting price, but it looks like Bitcoin really was going to go up just for this little bit on its own. It bounced at 59,000 and now it's at 61,000. So over the last several hours, it actually has moved up pretty convincingly, but we're going to have to see if it can break 64,500, right? And I wouldn't be anywhere near bullish until it breaks 66,600. So for the moment, it is in kind of a mini downtrend, which is in a little bit bigger of an uptrend. And we'll go back, we'll zoom out, we'll take a look at things. But let's take a look at the market really, or the data really quick first. So on the calendar today was PPI, and that's not true. Sorry, yeah, give me a second. Got to go down on the calendar. There we go. Yeah, it was true. PPI came out, and it came out like basically as expected, or a little lower than expected. Now your CPI came out a little hotter than expected, and there were kind of some headlines about sticky inflation and some employment issues, just a little bit more unemployment than expected. So that was kind of like an economy is still not doing that well scenario from an employment standpoint, but the inflation was kind of hanging out and not going away quite as quickly. The Fed might interpret that how they will. One thing to look at, though, is the producer price inflation, right? So the CPI is consumer price inflation, and that was yesterday. Today's PPI. Now, I did a whole video where I took this data and I actually analyzed it, and I spent a couple hours doing it, and I looked at all the PPI and CPI going back several years, I think to 2018, and I was unable to find really strong any kind of correlation, positive, negative to, okay, can we predict the CPI or predict the PPI based on which one comes first and which one comes second? Like if the CPI is up, will the PPI be up the next day? Because if you can do that, you can predict what's going to happen. You can make some money, and there really was no correlation. So just because the PPI was lower doesn't necessarily mean that the CPI is going to be lower next month. Like I actually even staggered it. I staggered my analysis. I did a month-to-month analysis. So I did like a same month analysis, and then I staggered the months to see if one of them would be kind of predicting the other a month later. I figured, okay, well, producer price inflation might be an input to consumer price inflation. So I put the CPI a following month. I analyzed that and found no strong correlation. So a very, very slight correlation, which was negligible. And then, of course, I only wanted to look at the recent like 5 or 6 years because things change over time. So you want to just kind of weight your data towards the modern times anyway. So that being the case, the fact that the PPI was actually a hair lower than expected, and I mean a hair, it doesn't necessarily mean the CPI is going to be lower next month. It just doesn't. What does matter is that we are in an election year, right? But I think this will be the last CPI and PPI that comes out prior to the election. So I don't know that there's any messaging or any more messaging that'll be, creatable by these numbers, given that the election's coming. The Guerilla, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning, everybody. How's everyone going and doing?
We're doing good. We're just talking about data and things like that, but there's really not a lot to glean off the data. So we move back into the charts.
Sure. Yeah, let's go back into the charts.
And move back. So anything exciting happening out there with the Guerilla?
World War III is about to start today at 1 p.m. Apart from that, all's quiet in the front.
Okay. So is it where's it going to start? Is it going to start in Namibia?
It's looking like the Republic of Djibouti is literally about to set it off with Irritaria, you know. Yeah.
I just like
So
saying Djibouti.
it's a battle of superpowers here.
Say, why don't you give me Djibouti? Yeah.
I'm just joking.
They're like throwing rocks at each other. Yeah, I look, I think everything's just kind of going to go sideways through the election. We talked about this with a lot of risk in crypto, especially. I think the regular markets will be good after the election, no matter what, right? Because all the elites make their money on the markets, and the elites are the ones who pay the politicians. I mean, it doesn't matter. Both sides donate. All the different banks and all the different asset managers donate to both sides. So they'll be taken care of. No matter who wins. So the SP 500 and all that, that's going to probably go as planned. The rest of the world wants it to go as planned because everybody around the world's money is in those indices. So I think that's kind of expectable. But with crypto itself, with Kamala, like, okay, she paid a little tiny bit of lip service. Like, we probably should be friends with crypto. Like, not even a commitment to being interested in crypto, right? And prior to that, no kind words. And probably once she is elected, then she'll basically probably just say crypto bad. And so if that does happen, and we don't know what's going to happen, but if it does, that might put a damper on crypto. It might make things not quite go so well as planned, or crypto could just push through. Crypto's known for pushing through. It's unpredictable to a degree. If you were just to ask me like right now what's going to happen, I'd say regardless of who gets elected, sometime maybe later this year, probably next year, sometime in Q1, Q2, we'll see a top. And I think that top's going to be, I hate to say this, I know it's an unpopular opinion, I think there's a chance that top's going to be below 100,000. Yeah, you see the comment there? That's good. That's real good, Lisa. That's fucking funny. But yeah, so that being the case, look, that's not a problem. We are traders, so we are not so concerned with like, oh, is it going to go to the moon? We're concerned with, are we able to take profits whether it goes up or down, right? We want volatility. Volatility downside makes us money. Volatility upside makes us money. And then we have to just kind of use our knowledge of what's going on through our charting and our research and via the Guerilla here. Given that you do these large deals, via the Guerilla, if you need like tens of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, just talk to V. He'll make it happen for you. Or precious metals. That's what he does. That's his real job.
Billions and the billions of dollars.
Yeah. Now, have you crossed that? You've crossed that mark, right? If you
did total volume, total. I mean, did 2.43 last year.
Yeah,
billion.
Yeah. So, we don't want to see too much. People start to,
are we on live? Oh shit, we're on live, not on private, are we?
Yeah, we're live. Yeah.
Shit. I did $2.43.
$2.43 million. No, you can say million, bro. It's not going to scare anybody.
I did only 2 million there.
Yeah, there you go. So long story short, look, if you need that kind of thing, but when you're doing like 7-figure or larger deals of any kind, whether it's gold, whether it's, Bitcoin or anything like that, the kind of people you're doing business with, oftentimes you're going to have some pretty good information. So we do have an idea.
For the regulators out there, we're talking about 7 fingers, not 7 figures.
7 fingers. Yeah. That sounds really bad. Like seven finger,
like next level Nephilim kind of stuff,
There's officials and there's officials. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Officials. Exactly.
We're getting banned. So anyway, we'll do a little bit of charting before we leave here for the private group. So I'm going to go ahead and light up the private group, meaning that I'm going to turn it on so people can flip over there, and look, honestly, I'm kind of flat on Bitcoin right now. It is holding above 60,000, right? So that's a good thing. Our old support.
That's a very good thing.
Yeah, our old support was about 60,000, really 60,000, like 500 or something, 60,100. It just continued to stay above that. over like say Q2 and some of Q3. Seems as if price may have found its support above that. Now I did have this move down that happened over like the last few days, like this whole week. I predicted that. And let me do something real quick. Sorry about that. All right. And so what I did was I predicted this move right here, and that's great. However, it seems as if it's really the bounce that's happening right now seems as if the market is ready to hold it. Now, we don't know that that's the case. Price easily could continue down. The algos are kind of flat higher time frame. They're kind of flat. And right now, technically, this is a downtrend, right? If you just look at this, you have lower lows, lower highs. And so if you're looking at this, price, in order to break this downtrend, needs to break above 64,600. But not only does it need to do that for me to be confident that the downtrend is truly broken, is that price needs to come down and make a lower low and then come above this high. And then it's like, okay, now we're in an uptrend, right? And by that time, there's a good chance we're above this prior high too. And then we probably would be, in this case, just continuing the uptrend, the higher time frame uptrend. And by the way, this can end up being a head and shoulders bottom. Could head and shoulders continuation. So if that's the case, though, we are still in a high time frame uptrend, believe it or not, right? So all we need is for price to go down no lower than 53,600. If price goes below 53,500, actually, if price breaks below that, then that's going to be kind of a, okay, are we no longer in an uptrend? We don't know yet. It could also, I mean, there's other ways to look at it, but if it did like this and like that, now we're in a downtrend, right? So it really all is kind of be price action dependent. I do think price is going to compress. I think, and when I say compress, I don't mean go down, which is a common way to say that. But what I do mean is that price might start to range, and it might start to tighter and tighter range. And I would be okay with that. If price were to start to fall into a range, that's really good news, because number one, it's easy to trade. You can just trade the range. But number two, it means that it's consolidating and waiting for a move up. And we've talked about our top side targets plenty of times. I've got 88,000 and 95,000-ish as my targets up. And it could go up higher than that. It's possible. But we do have a lot of things happening. And unpopular opinion is that it might not be able to break 100,000. We get a lot of, we've talked about why that is many, many times. So go back and look at our old shows. For now, via the Guerilla, sir, can you get us over to the private live lab?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, guys, don't sit there wondering if this is for you. Join us in the private lab. Make it happen for yourself. Algo Factory .tech. $1.66 a day, less than the price of a bottle of water. Let's go, Cowboy.
Join us or die.